922-411-225. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's go back to the phone lines. Yes, we went to the break on the note of the Arab Spring.
Yes. Well, you see how quick the Arab Spring went towards Europe, though.
Yes.
Yes, because even the country that the Arab Spring started in, just recently, it is back to a dictatorship.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. That's what happens when. Hello.
It started in Tunisia.
Yes. That vendor, I think.
Yes. The university graduate.
And self-immolation.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cases like that every day in the street, where the police, the auxiliary police take away people goods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see it every day in the street. Mark you. I don't agree with them selling at certain areas, because it's inconvenient for the populace.
Yes.
But sometimes the way they're handled, and knowing it's soon to back to school, yes. people have to try hustle. It's not. We're a bit reduced now. There's no. Which is the word I'm searching for? I know. There's no leniency. There's no mercy. Because there's a monetary thing where everything is seen as a form of revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that in and of itself, it's like expecting, and mind you, it's mixed. It's been mixed here in Jamaica, but it's like expecting people to dispose their waste, and there is no waste bin. There's no.
Yes. Because all right. Recently, when they allowed a lot of taxi routes, right? There was no addition to the park, to the very source where they were load from, No park was extended.
And therefore, you'd have a spill out onto the streets.
All right. Mm-hmm. So that's like harvest for the police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can't see the coloration?
Yeah, there is effort and there is effort. You have to demonstrate in what you do whether or not you're serious, because some people just do it for show.
Well, they did it for sure without watching the repercussions of what they do.
Yeah.
It's like medicine now becoming the poison.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to the psychology of prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. From the Bible, the Bible hasn't changed much in terms of what it says. So from the very first time it was written, we were in the last days. Because all through time there has been war.
Mm-hmm.
And people now, they're seeing the last day no more than ever. When the very same thing was happening, so I'm wondering why it really is the last day. Because I don't see a last day. Life to me is as perennial as the grass.
Yeah, part of it too is the individual's need for some yes, and so the individual applies to himself or herself.
Yes, because we all need something to believe in.
Yeah.
So I believe is a level of comfort in it, that is hope.
Yes, indeed.
It's optimism too.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of life, and sometimes it's the most important part of life. A sense of belief.
Yes, true.
Because it should make a plan, you have to believe in it.
That's right.
So you see the importance of it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Have a good day, Dervan.
Thank you so much. Always good to hear from you. Thank you. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Apologies for the absence of This is Jamaica this week. And I believe I might have, by virtue of posting a picture with my six pack on social media, I might have given the impression that I was on long leave and would not be coming back for some time. So the team from This is Jamaica thought today was, I would have been off today as well. And so they didn't do the usual, send the usual list and details for the guests, etc. But all things being well, the program will return next Tuesday. This is Jamaica will return next Tuesday. In the meantime, though, here's a reminder that This is Jamaica, in association with Dr. Dwayne Dice of Education Solutions International Incorporated, are presenting the second annual Peter Gracie This is Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition 2022. Best video rendition of This is Jamaica by Peter Gracie. Registration opens on the first day of school, September the 5th, and will run until the 23rd of September. The first round video renditions must be submitted by September 30th. And the scholarship really was created to empower children to restore and preserve Jamaican culture through poetry, drama, and the arts, to explore poetry as an educational building block, and to promote literacy. The hope is to inspire and motivate students to express themselves freely through this poem, This is Jamaica, written by Peter Gracie. In terms of eligibility, the criteria, it's open to students 6 to 17 years old who are enrolled in school during the scholarship period. The parent or guardian must give permission, or parents or guardians must give permission. They must register at thisisjamaica.org/scholarships. Thisisjamaica.org/scholarships. Applications must be submitted by the 23rd of September, and video renditions by the 30th of September. And please visit thisisjamaica.org/scholarships to register. And This is Jamaica is on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Check it out. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Sir Malcolm.
Greetings.
Yeah, man. Welcome again.
Thank you.
But a breaking news never yet happened in Jamaica, happened in Clarendon.
What is that now?
2 days ago, I see one lady coming out of a supermarket. I sell some ripe pear. As a push that I am, when pear arrived, I could do without ask her how much them. The lady made me know, say, man, $700 for one, $500 and $400. One of the. I'm telling you, you're mad. She buy them. And even the cashier have to get up from around our machine to come look and the pear them better. And those ripe pear was the size that they are selling in the market for $100, $150. And the old man seriously said $700 per pear. And she don't know, she don't look mad, she don't sound mad. So it's a lady that you really buy pear at that price to come back and sell it $700 for one pear. And she said, yes, that I could buy a pear. And well, I don't know, but I don't know what you make of that.
Yeah, well, personally, for me, there is nothing that I need so much that I wouldn't walk away from it if the conditions are not right. Say that again. Hello? Did we lose Rascava? Oh. The usual crowded line, Rascava. We're hearing multiple things happening on your line. Hang up and call back, please. See if you can get a better signal or a better connection. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And we are, for those who are following us online on the live stream, we are up and running. And keep those comments coming here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-411225. 876-922-411225. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello. Are you there? No, not sure what happened there. We had a caller on the WhatsApp line. End of that story. So let's move on. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story. Roy Lawrence says, greetings, teacher. The Bible First Conference, 381 AD at Constantinople, the first Bible original. Thank you very much. Who is this? Roy Lawrence. Thank you. Also messaging us, Moralist asks, how did we reach here? Ask Pernell Charles Sr. And it even goes further than the now so-called representatives of music. They said that these things that we have to sit and listen to from one place to your destination does not affect people. But I feel like vomiting some of the time. I don't know how people do it, but I don't know. I don't know. Look, the copulation between male and female is a wonderful thing, which should be entered into by adults, and in particular, ideally, committed adults, ideally. And so it's a wonderful thing, wonderful part of creation. But the way we're treating this whole experience these days, it really causes one to vomit, actually, or wanting to vomit. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCB key card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using your debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Under the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we're taking more of your calls in just a moment. That is how we were greeted with Jamaican music. And for the whole time, wherever we went, the only music we heard playing was reggae music. And it seems, on the face of it, based on all of what we heard, they were playing tasteful reggae. I'm just saying, tasteful reggae music, fun loving, kind of entertaining, nothing boorish or vulgar, etc. Just nice, clean reggae music for the whole time we were in Bermuda. And we didn't tell anybody to turn on reggae for us. They just enjoy playing reggae music and listening to reggae music. So we have a winning creation. But then there are just some other aspects. I don't know. I feel sorry for the children, actually. I really feel sorry for them because they're the ones who are going to feel the backlash from all that's happening now. By that time, most of us would have expired. Oh boy. Inez Iona Campbell says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and viewers." No audio. Well, it's the new technology. Sorry about that. So when I don't, you see, under normal circumstances, I would talk without this brand new microphone that I have. It's rather heavy as well. That is plugged into the laptop. So under normal circumstances, you'd hear me talking during the commercial breaks. And I would always say to you when you try to get my attention to say what I'm saying is going out on air, that I never ever say anything that can't go out on air. So I'm never worried about that. So now, for your purposes, I decided to get a microphone, this heavy microphone in the studios here. It's quite heavy. And all I need to do is to plug it into the laptop. And then that allows me to not allow you or not cause you to hear me talking during the break, as I just did with Davin, the program assistant on duty, when I muted my microphone. So this is the microphone. This is the addition to the broadcasting apparatus. So there's a light under here, as you can see. And when the light is on steady red, then it means that it is open. When I press, as you can see, it flashes. And that it is muted. So it's a new technology to benefit you, right? All right. So if you're not hearing any audio, it's not because anything is wrong. It's because I'm using the new microphone. All right. Inez Iona Campbell, thank you very much for your message. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon. All right, never mind. That person is not ready for us. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. It's 876-922-4112-5. And we have just a couple of minutes before we get to our interview coming up. Let's see. We have a bit of history to share with you here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And Just going through for some of the other stories that would have come in the last time we checked. Ukraine ridicules Russian murder accusations. This thing is not going to end anytime soon, eh? Alarm over reports Ukraine prisoners of war face trial in cages. All right, that one definitely will be going on for a while. But here's the thing now. The other article I was reading in the Economist magazine was about food prices. And the story is, against expectations, global food prices have tumbled. Why the war in Ukraine has caused less disruption than feared. And we'll perhaps come back to this sometime later on this afternoon, because we have a scheduled interview coming up. So let's stand by for that and come back with more in just a moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Dentalers, we're back. Dental returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancing. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. Aux input mode.
It's not been a single year since 1974. Grade 4 has not been impressed by the stabilizers.
spurring action. Jamaica forward.
I know people are out there screaming, yes, but it's not just this government. I don't care. Fix it and stop spinning. Govern, man, govern. Whoever is there.
Featuring the bottom line with Ralston Hyman, the best public affairs banter on Jamaican radio.
Part of the national campaign against inflation. We have to have a shake-up of the public sector boards leading to increased efficiency, cut the corruption and the mismanagement, and get the agencies to function in a more efficient manner.
It's Power Talk, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Identifying challenges and finding solutions in a globalized world. Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays. Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday on Power 106 FM. Join us.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4 heures de 现在 TDN 了4 DN 02 Fen. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we are delighted to have joining us at this time the team of His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Ms. Jennifer Highland. And they have some very, very encouraging news to share with us as far as investments in the region are concerned, not only from the standpoint of equity, but also, well, in terms of real estate, in terms of opportunities, for example, to use one's credit in the United States of America, let's say, for example, to acquire a property here in Jamaica, or maybe even Barbados or elsewhere in the region, the business of project finance for micro, small, and medium sized enterprises. There's also an interest in the area of mining, for example, using artificial intelligence, AI, to find places to mine. And indeed, rare earth minerals have been identified here in Jamaica. So the prospects are very encouraging. And there is the matter of the Congressman Mark Green, senior ranking member on the Foreign Relations uh, Committee with a particular focus on the Western Hemisphere. So we have quite a bit of ground to get to cover, and we are going to go there and give you enough time to get ready. It's uh, it's going to be a major event starting on Thursday. That's this Thursday coming, and it will run until Saturday. And it will be both virtual and face to face. And we're talking somewhere in the region of $5 billion worth of investments in the region. But hey, I'm not the one with the information. The information is very well known by both His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Ms. Jennifer Highland. Hello, good afternoon to you both. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be on this great program with such an influence on Jamaica and on the Jamaican diaspora.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, and so that was Ambassador?
Yes, it is.
Ambassador Thomas, and I think I just heard Jennifer Highland. Is that you?
Yes, I was greeting you and greeting your listeners as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Great.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. So let's get some background here now, Ambassador Thomas. What is all this about? I mean, I've shared some of the information, but there's a lot to be gone into in terms of details.
Yes. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is introduce our firm, because our mission has given birth to the conference. Mm-hmm. So our mission as of conference, our parent organization is based in New York, and we are venture capital and advisory consulting firm, which is very unusual. In terms of advisory consulting, we provide advice to governments and to private sector leaders in how to create projects that add to the socio-economic development of their countries. In terms of venture capital, we do JV partnerships that create and add value to the socio-economic development of a country. So that's our focus. Mm-hmm. Now, we created Upton Funds Caribbean, of which I'm chairman and CEO, and we've created a conference called the Caribbean Investment Summit that will bring above $5 billion worth of investment. And it's divided into 9 different tracks of investment, 9 different tracks where we believe that money is flowing in those particular sectors. When you study economy, you realize that economies are built on pillars, and these pillars are areas in which significant transactions flow. Example, in Jamaica, one of your economic pillars is tourism. Another is remittances. And then there's a certain smaller portion goes to manufacturing. Now, those are pillars of the economy. Now, if, for example, like with tourism, a pillar gets affected, it could cause the whole economy to wobble. Mm-hmm. And like in Sri Lanka, it can crash.
Yeah.
So sometimes economic pillars are not static. Economic pillars are made up of economic ideas that need to be relevant to their generation and relevant to the happenings on the earth. And sometimes these economic ideas can expire. And if you don't create other economic pillars, quickly your economy can topple over and fall down and splutter like Humpty Dumpty. So that's what happens in many parts of the world. So what we've done, we've identified 9 different sectors where we believe there is new money pouring into those sectors. And now, so we are bringing those 9 sectors to the Caribbean and encouraging Caribbean governmental leaders, Caribbean private sector leaders to look at these 9 sectors and build them in tandem with what we already have. So that's the introduction.
Well, thank you very much for that. And so then, Jennifer Highland, who is invited to be a part of this Caribbean Investment Summit?
Yes, our guests are, we have our presentations from Israel, Brazil, within the Caribbean, here in Barbados, that would be speaking to various topics that you would have heard Dr. Thomas mention. We have Danielle Abrams. She is the Executive Director for Volcani International Partnership, and she's connected to the Volcani Research Institute of Israel, who is responsible for innovations in agriculture. And you well know that Israel is the leading when it comes to agriculture technology.
Yes, they're very creative.
Very creative, turn an entire desert into a flourishing agriculture that sits out across the world. And so they have the know-how and the technology that can certainly help our Caribbean farmers and stakeholders understanding how to increase production and yield dependent on the type of soil that is within each Caribbean nation. So imagine if tomatoes grow better in Jamaica than they do in, say, Grenada, then they will be able to identify the type of soil that best increases the yield. And so, they do things like that. And yes, you talk about policy and funding and so forth, but you have to understand now the dynamics of producing yield within your respective nation and make the most out of what you have as a nation. So definitely she's going to be speaking to that. And what I want to reflect on, which really helped us to solidify her participation last year in the height of the lockdown, we were able to train over 2,300 farmers virtually from across the Caribbean. And that initiative started in the Bahamas, where we also have projects that Dr. Thomas can speak to. But that we realized that there was a significant need that the farmers showed by their participation, because in less than 3 days, it started at 80 farmers, and in less than 3 days, we had over 3,000 farmers registered for that virtual component. So you can see that there's a need for knowledge where it comes to innovation. And so we are going to be speaking more to that, because we will be starting agricultural training yearly. So we want to make mention of that as well. Yes. We also have who's going to be speaking is U.S. Congressman Yvette Clarke by video, and she has very strong ties with the Caribbean. I believe she's of Jamaican heritage, if I stand correct.
Yes, she is. We know her very well.
Very well. Yeah, so she's going to be presenting a 10-minute video presentation, and she will be speaking as well as Emily King. She's the founder and CEO of Global Venture Consulting, the firm that Dr. Thomas speaks to with regards to minerals and so forth. We have as well, we have Alice, Ambassador Alice Hortat. She is connected to the development of maritime transportation. And she's going to speak more about the initiative, because there are some components to maritime transportation, and so she'll be speaking on a subsector that will help facilitate the movement of trade and people across the Caribbean, beginning with a key areas, I believe, Barbados, Suriname, and Trinidad. We also have joining us as well is two individuals from a company called Nova. When it comes to green energy and using the waste energy that is lost during the hours of the morning and turning that energy into buying that energy and turning it into using crypto mining. So that is a company of Pio Rodriguez and Fidalma. They're from Brazil. They will be speaking, and we have Tony Aquaviva, which you heard mention about the U.S. mortgage facility. We have a number of persons that won't want to speak at the entire program, but we do have Lloyd Haynes, who's the founder and CEO of New Haven Merchant Bank from Guyana, and Dr. Sergio Akimboto. He's the head of the money division of Upturn Funds Caribbean. And we have Robert Friedman. He is the Chief Business Development Officer for First Stack Modular.
Well, it sounds like a very impressive lineup. Hold one moment, please. We need to take a break.
Sure.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:15. Created for the petroleum industry. HAS Petroleum Equipment and Supplies, providing equipment and parts for petroleum transportation, dispensing, servicing, retrofitting, construction, and maintenance of service stations. Your one-stop superstore. Save foreign exchange and time. Shop locally. Visit us at 181 Hagley Park Road or call 876-787-1236. HAS Petroleum Equipment and Supplies, the petroleum industry innovators.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在TDN 了4 DN 10 liao fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know school is still out, at least for another week or so, or another few days. But you know what we always say, even when school is out, homework is always in, because homework is about preparation, and proper preparation prevents poor performance. And as we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing our broadcast here of both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're delighted to have joining us the team of His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Ms. Jennifer Highland. They've been preparing us for the Caribbean Investment Summit, which takes place, well, it starts on Thursday. That's Thursday of this week, and will run until Saturday. And the energy behind this is Upton Funds Venture Capital, and they have quite a lineup, as you heard, going to the break. And we are excited just listening and can only imagine the possibilities. Want to get a sense from you, Ambassador Thomas. I get the impression that some work has started already, or some things are already happening based on what Jennifer Highland said, for example, in reference to agriculture and Israel, etc. Can you give us a sense as to where you are in your continuum?
Yes, work has already started. Right now we have a project in agriculture ongoing in the nation of Bahamas, and in the area of real estate, we have entered into joint venture relationship with one of the leading mortgage providers in the USA to create a company called Landman Finance that will provide U.S. mortgages for the diaspora, all 8 million plus of them within the diaspora.
Before you go on, could you just say a little more on that? Because members of the diaspora are tuned in, they're listening, and we just want you to narrow it down a bit more, sharpen it a bit more in terms of what you just said about the mortgage finance outside of the U.S. Go ahead, please.
So we have created a mortgage finance company called Landman Finance. And this company will provide U.S. mortgages for the diaspora.
Mm.
And it will be launched in August at the conference. We are encouraging customers, people who want a mortgage, to actually join. And we'll be providing information on this to go to the website and participate in the conference. Those who want to cross-sell it, existing real estate agents that want to be able to sell homes to the diaspora can cross-sell these mortgages as well. Real estate developers who want to build developments and actually market them to the diaspora can do that as well. So we work with everybody, and this is game-changing because it will offer mortgages for residential and for commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So the possibilities for economic development are huge.
Mm-hmm. What kind of traction have you been getting? What kind of interest have you been picking up from?
Well,
yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
The interest is sky high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to use a phrase, it is red hot. Yes. It's red hot, but it's been launched at the conference, and real estate agents who are listening can actually register and actually be given the ability to cross-sell this, which will definitely add value to their products and to the offerings, not products, but to their offerings, their home offerings or residential property offerings. So we're encouraging them to go to our website and to register and learn more about this amazing opportunity. We also have second major opportunity in the manufacturing sector. Congressman McGreen, the senior ranking member in the Foreign Relations Committee of the Western Hemisphere, is the co-author, is the author and sponsor for bipartisan bill to move manufacturing jobs for American goods from China to the Caribbean or Latin America. And he wants to come and share the possibilities of this bill and how governmental leaders and private sector leaders can align themselves with what this bill offers in terms of opportunities and even financing for the region to make the transition and become a nearshore center. The name of the bill is the Nearshore Bill, the Nearshore Act, as different from offshore. So the concept is it's better for Americans' defense, in America's national security, to actually have a lot of its manufacturing done nearshore. And I believe the Caribbean, this can become a new economic pillar in the Caribbean development. So I believe the real estate can become a pillar, just like how remittances are pillar. Diaspora, building, purchasing property can become a major economic engine. So these are two great possibilities.
Yes, indeed. How about the other details now, Jennifer Highland, for example, those listening to us who are hearing you talk, you and Ambassador Thomas talk about this Caribbean Investment Summit, which is scheduled for the Hilton Barbados Resort, August 25 to 27. That's the for those who would be attending physically, but it will also be available virtually. So what do we need to know? Those of us who are excited by what we're hearing and anxious to learn more and to be a part of the experience from the 25th to the 27th of August. What do we need to know? What do we need to do, Jennifer Highland?
Okay, yeah, so firstly, we have the opening ceremony, and that is going to be carried as well virtually. And once you log on to our website at leadershipconference.com, you can go ahead and register and state your country in the field so that we know where you're logging in from. So that's one. The opening ceremony is free. And then you can decide specifically for the facts that Dr. Thomas mentioned. I'm going to give you a breakdown of the pricing. So once you log on, you're going to scroll down to the bottom and you're going to choose the price view. And if you just want to participate in one session, because as Dr. Thomas mentioned, there are over 9 sectors, and one sector may not be specific interest to you. So you can then attend that particular sector session. For example, on Saturday morning, the real estate is happening on that day, and you can just attend at $100 to attend that session. And but if there are other sectors, then you can choose to stay for an entire day, and that would be $250. And if you want to know more about all of these sectors, as Dr. Thomas says, there's money that is moving within these sectors. And so you may want to just understand what's happening within these sectors, what benefits can accrue to you if you either switch or start another operation within these sectors. Then you will want to participate in the 3 days full session, which is $700. And there's a registration section on the website, and it breaks down everything per session so that you can decide, what you want to participate in.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So, for example, session 1 is maritime and rural transportation. Session 2, that's on Thursday. Session 2 on Thursday, we're talking about green energy, which includes waste management and how you can benefit in your waste. And there's the sustainable development goals, and that we are seeking to reach. And definitely, this will be a very good green project for government. So that particular session is happening on Thursday at 1:15 to 5, and the agriculture is happening on Friday morning and Monday, and that's from 9 to 12. And then on Friday again, there's construction and infrastructure development with financing, and that happens in the afternoon on Friday. And then session 5 on Saturday, as I mentioned, real estate development for U.S. mortgage financing for commercial and residential real estate in the Caribbean. That is happening on Saturday morning. And then there's a closeout master panel session that brings the whole thing together about how you can learn about accessing international financing. I know we do have our small businesses and financing within our respective countries, but to understand international financing and how you can access finance within these particular sectors, they're going to be discussing that in the master panel on Saturday afternoon.
It sounds rather rich in terms of content. What kind of response have you had from Caribbean governments, for example? Are the Caribbean governments, the governments of the region, aware that this Caribbean Investment Summit is happening? Are any of them likely to be in attendance, Ambassador Thomas?
Yes, they are. They are very aware. We have got in contact with them, and many will be attending, and some even participating in the event.
Mm-hmm. How about a timeline coming out of this Caribbean Investment Summit, August 25 to 27 in Barbados? What should that look like if things go according to plan?
Well, we would have launched land and finance. We would have created some new projects, and we would launch them in the Caribbean and begin to add value to the socioeconomic development of this region. we are venture capital, so we are not experts in talking. Experts.
I love that. Sorry, go ahead. Say that again, please. The world needs to hear that.
I said we are venture capital, so we're not experts in talking.
That's right.
We're experts in execution.
Excellent. I love that.
If I can add to that,
Sure.
you know, there's a lot of strategic planning, but not a lot of strategic doing.
True. Absolutely. So you're
Yeah.
throwing out the window some of those less than functional posture and positions,
Yes.
which is good because we live in an age now where people are demanding more and in a demonstrative way, and so you just have to do what is supposed to be done, and as opposed to, as you said, you're not into the business of talking, but executing. And we're definitely looking forward. Just a moment, please. I know we're scheduled to end here, but we have just a couple more questions. And if you have additional information you'd like to share, we'll give you the opportunity after the break. Listeners, it's a preview of this week's Caribbean Investment Summit, which is put on by Upturn Funds and Leadership Axehead Consulting. And it's happening in Barbados, the 25th to the 27th of August. That's this week. But there's a virtual component, and that website, leadershipaxeheadconference.com. That's leadership, AXE, head, HEAD, conference.com. If you want to read about it in your own time and prepare yourselves, leadershipaxeheadconference.com. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Thanks a lot. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:29. ¿Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5h moins 29. 现在，地点了5点，2:19分. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. We've been giving you a preview of this week's Caribbean Investment Summit. Spread the word. All the business people in Jamaica, all the entrepreneurs across the diaspora, investment, those who are searching for investments, those who are looking to benefit, for example, from investment opportunities. Here is your time, and there's no time like the present, as we know. Now is the time. And again, that website address, leadershipaxeheadconference.com. Leadership, AXE head, HEAD, conference.com. Check out that site right now. In the meantime, let's get ready to put a cap on our interaction or engagement in conversation with His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Ms. Jennifer Highland. They are making sure that the information gets around, and you're invited to spread the word as well. It's whether you're into maritime transportation, infrastructure development, mining, energy, agriculture, real estate. My late mother would say, "Ano sopna go, a sopna come." And do I need to translate for our guests? Yes, something. It's not something that is going away or will not be manifested. Something that is actually going to happen. I'm sure you picked that up quite clearly, Ambassador and Ms. Highland.
We learned something today. That's good.
So let's give you the opportunity now. We want to make sure we don't miss anything. We've shared some information so far. Is there uh, additional data that you think our listeners at home and abroad uh, should know and should pay attention to from this Caribbean Investment Summit?
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I'm going to make a quick correction in terms of the virtual cost component. That what I want listeners to understand, while we're talking about investment and project financing and venture capital, the whole goal of what we are doing is to really position this position our organization to help improve the lives of women and the working class and families and communities. If you don't have strong infrastructure projects and development, it's not going to trickle down to those in society that really need the support. And so the role, again, of what we do is to create a better society for all that are involved and to meet the full scope of the needs of individuals. And basically what we do is just bridge the gap between the government and the private sector with the initiatives that you heard that we spoke to improve not only just the macro environment, but also the social and economic environment. So we want to be able to, all that we do is to help the average person as well in terms of affordable housing and all of those sectors that once they are functional, once they are producing at the level that they're supposed to produce, then it will benefit those families and communities as well. So I wanted to make sure that I did signal that, because when people hear investment, oh, that's not for me. I'm just a small man, have a small business.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect me. That the goal is to make sure that it does impact communities and families and the working class.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it feels like a new dawn in regional development, the development of the region, as far as investments are concerned, and the engagement at virtually every level, because that's how development is supposed to be anyway, inclusive. Yeah. So and this new dawn, it's let me ask Ambassador Thomas, for the skeptics who might be listening, it's not a false dawn, is it?
No, it's not a false dawn. Now, I believe that the problems of a generation will never be greater than the ideas and solutions within people born into that generation. Otherwise, our Creator set us up to fail. I don't believe it is.
Right. Well, very well put. Well, we trust that you will have a successful Caribbean Investment Summit, August 25 to 27. We are encouraged by all that you've shared thus far, and we are going to track your progress. We want to keep in touch. Will the site still be up, or will it come down for the summit, and then we'll have to go somewhere else to follow the plans, the developments?
No, this site will be ever present.
Okay. All right, that's good.
We'll be going to Guyana. We'll be going to Dubai. We'll be going to Trinidad. Yes, so we'll be going around the Caribbean and hold country-specific summits, apart from the Caribbean-based one we have in Barbados. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely. Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
Just before we wrap up, the virtual component, I must ask your listeners to forgive me. I was actually reading the in-person cost. So the actual virtual component for one session is US $100. A full day pass is not $250; it's $200 US. And if virtual 3 full day pass is $550. I said 700 that are in person, but for virtual it's $550. Full day, 200 per session is $100 US. So I just wanted to correct that information.
Yes, indeed, and it does provide a glorious opportunity for a lot of networking, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's the goal of the summit as well.
Yeah. Well, we look forward. Please update us as we go along. Let us know as things develop, we'll be happy to have you both back and whoever else is involved so that we can, as we say, track the progress that you will be making going forward.
Absolutely, and thank you for extending that offer, and definitely will be back on your program to give yourself and your listeners an update.
We look forward to that. Thank you both so much. It's been a pleasure. We wish you all the success that life has to offer.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you too. All the best. His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Ms. Jennifer Highland, preparing us for this week's Caribbean Investment Summit. You can Google it, it's all over, Caribbean Investment Summit, or you can go to the website leadershipAxeHeadConference.com. Leadership, one word, Axe, A-X-E, Head, H-E-A-D, conference.com. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Poro 106 FM. The story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. And you know, we never forget to mention Friends of Jamaica, a very important category, Friends of Jamaica. Good afternoon to Kwame Sabbath Gordon. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you. Greetings from Mandeville, he says. Also, welcome to Clement. Where did we see Clement's message? Here it is. Clement Villiers, or to pronounce it the French way, Clément Villiers. He says, hello, good evening, good afternoon. He's checking in from Baltimore, and that's in the DMV, the D for Washington, D.C., the M for Maryland, and the V for Virginia. Hello to Hillary Shaw. Thank you for joining us. Carol says, this is Carol Boyth. I don't think she's going back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Goodness, she's still here. She says, hello from beautiful St. Anne's Bay, Dervan, and global listeners. Well, hello to you too, Carol. Thank you very much for tuning in. And, well, we'll stop teasing you about whether you're staying or going. Whatever you decide is fine with us. She says, hello from beautiful St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, Dervan, Malcolm, and global listeners. Please send a shout out to Omar and Omari for me. Please and thanks. Well, we just did, Carol. Hello to Omar and Omari, coming from Carol, who is straddling both St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, and Calgary in Alberta, Canada. What can we tell you? That's how it is. Hello to Joan in Bermuda. Joan Richardson popped up here on YouTube. Good to have you on board. And again, thank you for the royal treatment that you and your family and the broader family of Jamaicans in Bermuda gave us this past weekend. It was truly royal. Thank you very much. Not even the Queen gets that kind of treatment. Thank you. Thank you very much. And some more for you. Oh, we did. Let's just clear this. We did promise to go to this information. Oh dear. Let's see if we can bring it up. But information that we picked up reading The Economist. One of two stories that we highlighted, and one had to do with prices, right? And the story, oh, come on, I saw it a while ago. Where did it go? The story speaks to prices and essentially explains the situation as it stands and provides some answers. Right. So here's the story. Against expectations, global food prices have tumbled. Against expectations, global food prices have tumbled. And the information, the story goes on, and the question is why the war in Ukraine has caused less disruption than feared. In other words, at this point, things aren't as bad as they seem.
You're disconnected.
So here's the economist's take on this. 6 months after Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, an inflationary shock is still ripping through boardrooms, finance ministries, and households, with European natural gas prices surging again on August 22nd, that was yesterday, owing to fears of further disruptions to supply from Russia. But in one crucial area, prices have come back to earth. The cost of grains, cereals, and oils, staples of diets around the world, have returned to levels last seen before, before the war began. Russia and Ukraine are agricultural powerhouses. Until recently, the world's largest and fifth largest exporters of wheat and two largest exporters of sunflower oil. It was not therefore a surprise that food prices surged in February. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:45. Monkeypox is in Jamaica. If you are experiencing fever, intense headache, muscle aches, and or rash on the skin, you must isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. All members of the public should wear masks, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Under the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years, and that's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays on Power 106 FM.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 5h moins 14. 现在地点了5点14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? And surprise, surprise, we have some price reductions. This is my first time on air since that announcement was made by Jamaica Broilers. And I'm saying, bring it on. We need more of this. More of this. Because when it's going up, when costs go up and you have to raise your prices, we have to fork out additional funds. So why shouldn't it go in the opposite way as it has done in the case of Jamaica Broilers, for example? We need more of this. So we've been looking at the global picture from the perspective of The Economist magazine. This is the virtual edition. And as we said, Russia and Ukraine are agricultural powerhouses. Until recently, the world's largest and fifth largest exporters of wheat and two largest exporters of sunflower oil. It was not therefore a surprise, says The Economist, that food prices surged in February and March, driven by fears that exports would be disrupted by war. Indeed, the worry was that sabotages would persist, decimating grain stocks and causing mass starvation. That was the initial outlook. That terrible outcome now appears to have been avoided. Last week, wheat futures in Chicago for delivery in December dropped to $7.70 per bushel, far below the $12.79 they reached 3 months earlier and back to their level in February. Corn is also back to its pre-war price. Meanwhile, palm oil, found in thousands of dishes from ice cream to instant noodles, has dropped not only back to its pre-war price, but to below it. And there's a chart here that The Economist has shared to show the fluctuations and the peaks and troughs with respect to commodity prices. The recent deal brokered by the United Nations allowing Ukrainian grain exports to leave the port of Odessa can only explain a fraction of the shift. It was signed in late July after most of the decline in prices. More can be credited to the strength of Russian wheat exports. America's Agriculture Department suggests that Russian farms, far from being disrupted, will export a record 38 million tons in 2022-23, some 2 million tons more than they managed the previous year. A bumper harvest is underway in part due to good weather earlier in the year, and there is strong demand from traditional importers in North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The worries about shortages may have been overstated in the first place. Charles Robertson of Renaissance Capital and Investment Bank argued at the time that cereal traders were overexcited, wrongly grouping together the long-term disruption to oil and gas supplies and less plausible prolonged disruption to the food supply. Global wheat stocks were extremely high, says Mr. Robertson, which told us either that the relationship between stocks and prices had broken down or that speculation had got ahead of itself. The sheer volume of speculation on futures markets may also help explain the volatility. Michael Greenberger of the University of Maryland, formerly a division director at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, a regulator, notes that rules limiting speculation are routinely avoided by American banks, which assign swaps to their foreign subsidiaries. The drop in prices will not immediately feed through to consumers. Wheat and other cereal prices have returned to their pre-invasion levels when priced in dollars, but not in many other currencies. The greenback has climbed this year on the expectation of more rapid interest rate rises by the Federal Reserve, leaving some emerging market economies struggling. The Turkish lira is down by 26% against the dollar this year, and the Egyptian pound is down 18%. These countries are two of the three largest wheat importers in the world. Turkey and Egypt, two of the three largest wheat importers in the world. Prices were extremely high by historical standards even before the war, and there is no guarantee they will not rise again. Droughts across much of the world will affect crop yields. Meanwhile, fertilizers are still extremely expensive. Urea, UREA, a compound used in the production of nitrogen-based ones, currently runs to $680 per ton, down from $955 in mid-April, but still considerably more than the $400 it cost a year ago. That reflects the surge in the price of natural gas, which is natural gas is an ingredient in many fertilizers. With fuel prices in Europe continuing to hit record highs, there may be more nasty surprises in store. That story from The Economist magazine in the electronic edition. Against expectations, global food prices have tumbled. All right, so those were the stories we wanted to share towards the end of the program. Boris Johnson, a listener by the name of Boris Johnson, says, blessings, Dervan. Blessings to you too, Boris Johnson. Assuming this is not the same Boris Johnson, right? Not the UK Prime Minister, right? Would have to look out for the hair. Not seeing it here. Let's continue with more, although we're almost out of time, on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Malaysia's disgraced former prime minister is going to prison, is another of the stories. Najib Razak is out of appeals and out of luck. The case before Malaysia's highest court was not just about the fate of one man, it was also about the kind of country Malaysia wants to be. On the 23rd of August, that's today, a 5-member bench ruled unanimously, despite threats to uphold the conviction of Najib Razak, a former prime minister, for abuse of power, criminal breach of trust, and money laundering. Mr. Najib starts his 12-year prison sentence immediately today. He must also cough up a 210 million ringgit, or 47 million US dollar fine. The verdict ejects him from the national parliament. It at last delivers the justice that millions of Malaysians voted for when they kicked Mr. Najib out of office in 2018. Politicians need to remember that you're not going to be around. I mean, on the face of it, we know none of us will be around forever. But especially so politicians. Politicians have a limited shelf life. And we have to be mindful of that. I said we, yes. I always use the royal we. We have to be mindful of that. Because, and we've always said it, the people are going to have the last say, one way or another. And we must remember, those of us who serve as politicians, that indeed we are servants, as Bruce Golding, former Prime Minister, said at his inauguration in King's House, back in 2007, I believe it was. Servants. And politicians must never forget that. Politicians are servants of the people. And so here's another example where the people prevail. They always do at some point or another, even if it takes a few generations. Even if it does. And there's another story where we have a lot of reading to do. Why the Russian economy keeps beating expectations. Few thought it would be holding up 6 months into the war. Even in normal times, the Russian economy is about as transparent as a Siberian snowstorm. Do you get the picture? And these are not normal times. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the Central Bank of Russia, CBR, and Rosstat, the official statistics agency, have stopped publishing data on everything from trade to investment. Many question the reliability of those numbers that are still emerging. Investment banks no longer advising clients on Russian companies have pared back their research efforts. Multilateral organizations have pulled economists out of the country. In the blizzard, a furious debate has erupted about how the Russian economy is performing. A recent paper by 5 researchers at Yale University, which has garnered widespread attention, says that a retreat of Western firms and sanctions are crippling it. Any apparent economic strengths are mirage. And it goes on. We'll read more. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 23rd of August, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.